Chapter 29. Sara went to bed early, eager to get back to her conversation with Solomon. She closed her eyes and breathed deeply as she tried to find that wonderful place where she and Solomon had left off. "All really is well," Sara said aloud with a calm, clear voice of absolute knowing. And then she opened her eyes in amazement. Solomon, who Sara hadn't seen in weeks, was now hovering just above her bed. But his wings weren't moving at all. It was as if he was suspended in air, effortlessly hanging just above Sara's head. "Solomon!" Sara shouted in glee. "I am so glad to see you!" Solomon smiled and nodded. "Solomon, you are so beautiful!" Solomon's feathers were snow white and glowed as if each were a tiny spotlight. It seemed so much bigger and so much brighter. But it was Sara's Solomon all right. He could tell that by looking deep into his eyes. "Come fly with me, Sara. There is so much I want you to see." And even before Sara could speak her agreement, she felt that incredible whoosh that she had felt before when she had flown with Solomon. And they were off. But this time they were high above her little town. In fact, they were so high above her town that she didn't recognize anything she saw. Sara's senses were dramatically heightened. Everything she saw was amazingly beautiful. Colors were deeper and more wonderful than she had ever seen. The smell in the air was intoxicating. Never had Sara beheld such wonderful fragrances. Sara could hear beautiful sounds of birds singing, and water flowing, and wind whistling. The sounds of wind chimes and happy children's voices were wafting around her. The feel of the air on her skin was soothing and comforting and exciting. Everything looked and smelled and sounded and felt delicious. "Solomon," she said, "it's all so beautiful." "Sara, I want you to know the utter well-being of your planet." Sara couldn't imagine what Solomon had in store for her, but she was ready and willing to go anywhere he wanted her to go. "I'm ready!" Sara exclaimed. And in a flash, Sara and Solomon flew far from planet Earth, out, out, out beyond the moon, beyond the planets, and even beyond the stars. In an instant, they had traveled what must have been light years to where Sara could see her beautiful planet turning and glistening far off in the distance, moving in a sort of perfect rhythm with the moon and other planets and the stars and the sun. As Sara looked at the planet Earth, a feeling of total well-being filled her little body. She watched with a sense of pride as the Earth turned steadily and certainly on its axis, as if it were dancing with other partners, all of whom knew exactly their part in the magnificent dance. Sara gasped in amazement. Look at it, Sara, and know that all is well." Sara smiled and felt that warm wind of appreciation envelop her. The same energy that created your planet to begin with still flows to your planet to sustain it. A never-ending flow of pure positive energy is flowing to all of you at all times. Sara looked at her planet with complete knowing that this was true. "Let's take a closer look now," Solomon said. Now, Sara couldn't see any of the other planets, but planet Earth was glowing radiantly within her full view. She could clearly see the dramatic definition between the land and the seas. The shorelines looked as if they had been emphasized with a giant marking them, and the water simmered as if there were millions of lights beneath it, lighting the seas just for her viewing from her heavenly perspective. "Do you know, Sara? That's the water that has been nurturing your planet for millions of years. It's the same water that nurtures your planet today." That is well-being, Sara, of immense proportion. Think about it, Sara. Nothing new is being tracked or flown into your planet. The immeasurable resources that exist continue to be rediscovered by generation after generation. The potential for glorious life remains constant, and physical beings discover, to varying degrees, that perfection. Let's look closer. Solomon and Sara swooped down over the sea. Sara could smell the wonderful sea air, and she knew that all was well. They soared faster than the wind over the great Grand Canyon, a large, long, jagged crack in the earth's crust. "What is that?" Sara gasped in amazement. "That is evidence of your Earth's constant ability to keep its balance. Your Earth is continually seeking balance. That is evidence of that." Now, flying around at about the same distance from the Earth that the airliners flew, Sara enjoyed the incredible landscape below. So much green, so much beauty, so much well-being. "What is that?" Sara questioned, pointing at the little cone protruding from the surface of the earth and puffing big clouds of gray and black smoke. "That's volcano," Solomon replied. "Let's get a closer look." And before Sara could protest, off they went, diving down closer to the earth, flying right through the smoke and dust. "Wow!" Sara shouted. She was amazed at her feeling of absolute well-being, even though the smoke was so dense she couldn't see one thing in front of her. They flew up and out of the smoke, and Sara looked down to see this amazing volcano spitting and spewing. "That is more evidence of well-being, Sara. It's another sign that your Earth is managing to keep its perfect balance." And then they flew up, up, up again, and off to another amazing sight. It was a fire, a very big fire. Sara could see what looked like miles of red and yellow flames, hidden at times by big clouds of smoke. The wind was blowing hard, and the smoke would sometimes clear, leaving quite a good view of the flames, and then get so dense that Sara couldn't see the flames at all for a while. Every now and again, Sara would get a glimpse of an animal running very fast away from the fire, and she felt sad that the fire was destroying the beautiful forest and the homes of so many animals. "Oh, Solomon, that is just awful," Sara whispered, responding to the conditions she was witnessing. "That is only more evidence of well-being, Sara. It's more evidence of your earth seeking its balance. If we could stay here long enough, you would see how the fire will add much needed nutrition to the soil. You would see new seeds germinating and thriving, and in time, you would see the amazing value of this fire, which is part of the overall balance of your planet. I'm just sad for the animals who are losing their homes, I guess." "Don't be sad for them, Sara. They are guided to new homes. They feel no lack. They are extensions of pure positive energy." "But some of them will die, Solomon," Sara protested. Solomon just smiled, and then Sara smiled too. "It's hard to get over that death thing, isn't it?" "All is very well here, Sara. Let's explore some more." Sara loved the feeling of well-being that was enveloping her. She had always thought of the sea as treacherous, with sharks and shipwrecks. The television reports that she had seen a volcano spewing forth had always frightened her. The news was always full of forest fires and disasters, and Sara realized now that she had been pushing hard against all of them. This new point of view felt ever so much better. These things that Sara had always assumed were terrible or tragedies now took on an entirely new meaning when seen through the fresh eyes that Solomon had given her. Sara and Solomon flew all night long, stopping to observe the amazing well-being of Sarah's planet. They saw a baby calf being born and baby chickens kicking their way out of eggs. They saw thousands of people driving in cars, and only a few of them bumping into each other. They saw thousands of birds moving to warmer climates, and some farm animals growing longer hair for the winter. They saw gardens being harvested and other gardens being planted. They saw new lakes forming and new deserts forming. They saw people and animals being born, and they saw people and animals dying. And in every bit of all of it, Sara knew that all really was well. "Solomon, however will I ever explain this to anybody? How will I ever make them understand?" Sarah, that's not your work. It's enough, sweet girl, that you understand. Sarah sighed a big sigh of relief, and then she felt her mother shaking her. Sarah, get up! We have lots to do. Sarah opened her eyes to find her mother bending over her. And as she emerged into wakefulness, she pulled the covers over her head, wanting to hide from this day. All truly is well, Sarah. Sarah heard Solomon's words. Remember our journey. Sarah pulled the blankets down from her head and smiled the most beautiful smile at her mother. Thanks, Mom, Sarah said. I'll be fast as the wind. It will be all right. You'll see. I'll be ready in a flash. Her mother stood stunned as she watched Sarah bound from her bed, moving with deftness and clarity and most obviously in joy. Sarah threw open her curtains, raised up her windows, and stretched out her arms with a big smile on her face. What a beautiful day! She exclaimed with such enthusiasm that her mother stood bewildered, scratching her head. Sarah, are you all right, sweetheart? I'm perfect, Sarah said clearly. All truly is well. Well, if you say so, honey, Sarah's mother said tentatively. And I do, Sarah said, rushing into the bathroom and smiling from ear to ear. I do say so. The